Hey guys, I'm sorry that I'm not here on the second day of school. Unfortunately, my daughter's preschool orientation got scheduled for this morning. So I apologize, but I'm going to try and do my best here to set you straight for the rest of the year with some of this stuff. Okay, so Hippo. Hippo is something we're going to be talking about a lot this year. You'll get an assignment with it every other week probably. So we're going to do this one, another one of effort, and then we'll probably get into grades after that. Okay, so these words, like the historical context, audience, these are all from the AP test. So that's where that language comes from. Just makes a fun little acronym with Hippo. So you will have to use these words on a DBQ, which is basically a long writing portion where you write an essay based on documents. Okay, so that's why we're just going to practice it this year, and then you'll get there by the end. All right. Okay. So for your summer work, you had a paragraph to read and do Hippo with. This was a map. You'll get political cartoons, sometimes even pictures, and you're going to basically have to do all these words with each one. So I want you to understand this, and I'll be there next week so you can ask questions about it. But I'm just going to try and talk through it right now and go over last night's homework, document 2.1, 1.2, to see if this is what you got. Okay? So the first thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to talk to your partner and see if you guys were on the same page. Hopefully you were, and then it'll make sense here. Okay. All right. So for the first one, historical context. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring that book home, the document reader home. So this is what I have. So it's pretty similar. Yours is a little bit rougher looking than this. I don't remember the time period on yours though. Okay, so I'm going to kind of use this as a reference point. All right, so historical context, what does that mean? So in this document that you just got, it is the different regions, the different cultures of Native Americans. And what you need to do with historical context is basically saying what is going on at this time period. If you had to kind of give me a general description of what's going on related to the document, all these have to be related to the document, that's your context. So if let's do this document, okay, then we can talk about other ones. All right, so what was going on in this time period at a kind of a larger scale, right? You have, again, I'm not sure exactly the date on yours, but you have pre-colonization, I think with yours, pre-colonization from Europeans, right? You've got Native American tribes are in separate locations, separate cultures with some similarities, but overall they're independent, scattered tribes with no unity, right? So I would say the big context there, what's going on, right? It's pre-European colonization, looking at North American, Native American tribes. Okay? How do you feel? Good? Great? Good. Let's say a document was Las Casas complaining about the encomienda system, right? Okay, so I'm zooming out at a larger perspective, like what's going on. In that instance, it would be that the Spanish had begun to colonize parts of Latin America and North America, and the purpose or kind of the goal of that colonization would be to set up missions, but also you have God, glory, and gold. Okay, so that's kind of what is going on if you zoom out just a little bit during that time period. Okay, all right. Next one. Intended audience. Okay, so basically, who is the audience for this document? Why did the writer write it or speak it? Or why was a political cartoon drawn? Who is it for? Who is it for? And why is it for those people? Okay? So this one's a little bit tough because it's a map. If it was like a speech or a letter or a political cartoon, it's a little bit easier to see the intended audience, hopefully, right? So actually, when it comes to DBQ, I'm hoping you wouldn't pick intended audience because you do get a little bit of choice. So here, it's educational purposes, right? Intended audience is for education, to let people know kind of the different cultures and regions of the Native Americans. Intended audience is not very fun for maps. Okay, it's not very fun. All right. All right. Next. Let's say real quick, it's Las Casas again, complaining about the encomienda system. All right, the intended audience there would be, okay, who is he complaining to? Who does he want to hear this, right? Is it the Spanish monarchs? Is it the people in Spain? Hopefully he can get a morale revolution kind of. Is it for the actual conquistadors and people coming over to the New World and trying to make them realize kind of the negative effects of what they're doing? Okay, so that one I think you could accept any of those, depending on what exactly he said, if he was specific in who he was talking to. Okay, next, point of view. I'm sorry, purpose. All right, purpose. Why was it created? What's the purpose? Okay, Las Casas, for example. Why would he write all that? The purpose there would be to demonstrate with him, right? To demonstrate the negativity of the encomienda system, about the hypocrisy behind the missions, I guess you could say. It would be to hopefully demonstrate to the people back home in Spain kind of what's going on here. So again, it could kind of be a little bit of anything related to that. Okay, so with this one, again, it's a map, so it's kind of difficult. The purpose of this. All right, purpose. Why even make this map? It would be to demonstrate how these tribes here were individual tribes, right? If you look at all the different individual tribes, it's not just one massive Native American tribe. But also, this is to show similarities between certain regions of Native Americans. Okay. So, for example, in the Northeast, they aren't all the same tribe, but they do share some similar farming practices. Okay, same for the Plains Indians and etc. Okay, that's your purpose. All right, point of view. So, who is writing this, right? Who's writing this, and this is what I told people last year. What baggage are they coming in with when they're looking at this? What preconceived notions are affecting them? What bias do they have, right? So, and this is fast forward. If it's Abraham Lincoln, what is he bringing into this speech or in general? If it is a former slave, right? That their point of view is going to be very different than, say, even like a slave owner in the South, or it could be an abolitionist in the North, right? What baggage, what preconceived notions are they bringing into this, and why does it matter? With all these things, you have to have two sentences, because that is on the AP test, really. Okay, so point of view. Las Casas again would be, okay, what is he coming in with, right? What preconceived notions is he, what bias is he coming? Well, he is a missionary that hopefully is being true to kind of his religious beliefs, right? How does that affect things? Because he sees these missions that are going on, and he is using kind of his lens here and saying, no, those aren't religious, right? What's happening here is that's not religious. Okay? All right, so this one, again, maps, point of view are tricky. I mean, there's not a whole lot. Hopefully this is an objective point of view. What I can say, though, is that the point of view is somebody who recognizes that these tribes are different, right? That there's different identities. One thing that'll help you out, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, I can move it down here. Yep, it says 2006. So if there's ever a year of when it's actually published or made, that can go into point of view too. So this is 2006. So this is, if it was back in 1500, it's going to be totally different, right? Okay, so I would say this is an objective point of view who recognizes the individual differences between tribes, yet demonstrates that there are similar cultures in certain regions. Okay? All right. Last one, outside information. I think this is the easiest one. So you have to basically, you've got your document, whatever it is. Here's your document. You have to give me something that is a specific piece of evidence. Specific is very important. You won't get credit if it's not specific. Specific piece of evidence that's related to this, but that you can't find in the document. Okay? So here, I'll give you one for me. Okay. Let's see, I wrote it down. Each region had its own economic structure, right? For example, the Plains Indians became nomadic due to the importation of horses from Europe later on, while the Northeast was mostly agricultural based, with three sister farming, including bean, squash, and corn. Okay, so there's a couple specific pieces of evidence, but they do want 2 sentences on something specific that's related to this, but it's not in the document. So Las Casas. Sorry, I'm trying to give you 2 examples this whole time. What is a specific piece of evidence that's related, but not in the document? It could be something about the Black Legend, right? Many times the Spanish were known for brutalizing and exploiting the Indians, even though that there's much more than that to their culture. Okay. What else could be here? You could say, even talk about this map right here says the 1500s, so you could specifically talk about Christopher Columbus coming over and how that revolutionized it. That's specific. You give me a date there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Specific piece of evidence that's not in the document. Okay, let me give you a piece of evidence that's not specific. Okay, how about the Plains and the Northeast Indians had different cultures. Some of them were farming and some of them were nomadic. Okay, it's pretty vague. The explorers began to come over after this document, began to come over and started to form colonies in North America. That's pretty vague, right? Give me some specifics. Talk about where they came, talk about who came, that kind of thing. All right, I hope that makes sense. That's part 1 for today. So part 1 is Hippo, going over this. Part 2 is the lecture, and then part 3 is I'm giving you 3 multiple choice questions that are not a grade for you to look at, but it's how the multiple choice questions will be on the AP test. All right, we'll talk more about it later. Bye. Let me figure out how to stop it. That'd be great, right?